absolutely have to be dedicated. Do not go into something half-hearted or good chance it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Do your research up front. I touched a little bit earlier about, if you're deciding to go into a business, well, how did you make that decision? Did you do any market research? Do you know if that market will support that business? Who's your competition? What do they specialize in? What's your niche? What do you want to specialize in? What's your marketing going to be? Are you going to have a client relationship management software? There's so many things that go into making it, to building a successful business and then scaling it up to where it can become successful and grow.
Welcome to today's episode of the Leadbelt Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, John Steffen. If you've not yet done so, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another episode. Without further ado, let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Leadbelt Chronicles. And today I have a new guest with us, and that is James. So James, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, appreciate it, John.
So, James, I want you to go ahead and give me a full introduction of who you are and what business you own. So,
My name's James MacBride. I'm the owner of Revolution Landscapes here in Farmington, Missouri. We do hardscape, softscape, and some renovations as well.
okay, so first thing that comes to my mind is when you say hardscape or softscape, can you kind of just hit on that and just explain?
Sure, that's a great question. A lot of people really don't know what hardscape is. It's a term that's used in the industry, but softscape is more your lawn care, your lawn maintenance, leaf removal, fall cleanup, that type of thing, flower bed planting. Whereas hardscape is really more your outdoor living spaces, fire pits, patios, retaining walls, that type of thing.
Okay. So you must have a few years of experience. I know just talking with you, you actually grew up in the area, but you had moved away for a time. So were you born and raised here, and I guess you moved away for college? How'd that come about?
Well, I'm actually from Summersville, Missouri, about an hour and a half from here down by Eminence in the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, raised on Jack's Fork and the Current Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated from high school there, went into the service for a couple of years, and then came back here in 1989. My grandparents were here, my aunts and uncles were here, and so I wanted to be close to family.
Okay.
And just started working through a few different jobs, but ended up starting in 1993 at Crown Point, which is now Eagle Lake, which is now Crown Point Golf Course. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of the construction, got in on a little bit of that, and worked there for 5 years till 98. And during that period of time, I really fell in love with landscaping, golf course, construction, and taking care of the course, and got my pesticide license at that time, and learned about irrigation installation, and of course the agronomy and fertilization and herbicide, just all the different things, and really fell in love with it. So didn't think I was going to get an opportunity to be able to afford to go to college, but luckily Lord had other plans, and strange ways my house burnt down.
Oh wow.
And so we lost everything, but I was fully insured, so paid everything off and had some money left over, and just kind of really prayed on that for a few days, and ended up going to Rutgers University, Cook College campus, for a 2-year tertiary certificate program. Went out there for 2 years in a row for 10 weeks for a very in-depth schooling, and that's where I got a lot of the technical knowledge. In 1998, I was hired by a local company to build a golf course up at Timber Creek Resort, and so I helped with the final design phase of that. I got to design the shop for our needs and grew the whole course in. Managed that as golf course superintendent for 3 years, and then they promoted me to general manager. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was general manager of that property until 2009. In 2009, I went to Tyler, Texas, just outside Tyler, Texas, and managed a large property there, 2,800 acres, large indoor water park, full-service marina, and 2 homeowners associations, and 410 units. Mm-hmm. And managed that with a fantastic team for several years. And then in 2020, and during COVID, I had an opportunity to move to Branson and manage one of our largest resorts there in Branson, and it had a golf course on it. So we kind of got back into the swing of things on the golf course side. But really, my love and my passion's always been working outdoors, and for myself, and doing gardening and organic gardening and raising bees, and so I knew I wanted to get back into that. And so when I got out of the hospitality industry after 24 years in 2022, we moved back home. But before starting the Revolution Landscapes, really did a market analysis. Took a couple of months. Just kind of visited with some local business leaders, met with the chamber, just did some market analysis, and they're determined that there was a need for some hardscaping for truly professional landscaping company as well. There's a few out there, not that there isn't any, but the market certainly could support another one.
Yeah.
And with the way the Farmington area is growing, I saw really nothing but upward movement from there on. So that's where we kind of settled in, looking for a piece of property. We were either looking for a business that had a small apartment that the building would work great for us, or a home that had some acreage and a decent location in Farmington. And so lo and behold, I was able to purchase an old house and 3 acres here on Weber Road. And so we started immediately starting a business and renovating a house. So we came here May 24th of 23, and here it is December 6th today. And in that 6-month period, started the business, started growing it, which it's gone wonderful. Very excited about the where we ended up for this year. We still have some jobs to get wrapped up, but and then we did the renovation on the old house, the 1905 house that I've put in some of my social media posts. We completely redid that because as things start slowing down towards the fall, we try to switch the teams over to having some renovations in the pipeline, 1 or 2 of those to get us through the winter till spring comes back again.
Yeah.
But this year, just so happened we had the one I was renovating for myself, plus getting this building into shape that's beside us, and then doing another renovation down in Ironton. So it's been a very busy 6 months.
So it was actually a couple months ago, I believe, that when I actually first met you, it's kind of funny. The reason why I actually chose to actually interview you is there was a group of people that all showed up, because they're at the local chamber, they're trying to start up a new leads group in the next year. And so I remember that there's, I forget how many was there, about 15, 18 people?
Yeah, there's about 18.
About 18 people. And so I remember when it got around, everybody kind of said about themselves. And I remember it got to you, and I could just tell by your passion what you were talking about. And anyways, you had to kind of wrap up real quick, even though I could tell you had more to talk about.
Certainly.
And that's why you said something I really wanted to actually talk to you more about. Is you said in the last 20 or so years you have actually started 2 or 3 businesses that you've kind of started and expanded on.
Yes.
So kind of tell me about that. Did you start them, sell them, or did you just how'd that go?
We did, yeah. So we started, our first business was really a partnership with my wife and another person. We founded A Plus Academy here in Farmington, Missouri. It was in a church across the street from Save-A-Lot at the time, and that was really I was really the maintenance man and a bit of the business acumen on the backside, just kind of to give them advice and help them. My wife and her partner, they were the educators, and my wife had been in the daycare industry before she became a teacher. So that was a challenge. They had their way they wanted to do things, and again, I just was there to help support them any way I could. But it went well. We ran it for 4 years before we moved to Texas, and then we were down there for 2 years, and lo and behold, I had no plans of selling it, but a woman came in one day. She had moved to Farmington from New York, and wanted to buy a daycare, and she had researched all the daycares in Farmington, and has decided that she liked ours the best, and so the director, our daycare director, gave us a call and asked if we'd be interested in speaking to her about selling it. So after a little bit of negotiation, we decided to sell. We were in Texas. We at the time had no plans of moving back to Missouri, and And so we did sell that, made a little bit of money. Learned a lot in that process, really, about what it takes to start a business in terms of, doing the paperwork through the state, getting involved in the local community, with the chamber and different organizations. Really a little bit about some acquisitions, the process of acquiring a commercial space to use. About 2014, everything was going great down there. My wife had a wonderful job teaching. I had the full-time job as a general manager of a large property. I was working about 60 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. But my wife and I have always been collectors of antiques, and we like vintage items. Our house is decorated with vintage items. We love them because they're built well, they're made to last. And so at that time, the wedding industry was really kind of focused around vintage items. It was very hot at the time. My wife's also an interior designer. She does phenomenal work. And so she approached me and said, hey, I would like to start a vintage design and rental company, where we would purchase old furniture and dishes and just chandeliers and all kinds of things, and rent those out for weddings and different things. And so we started Vintage Design and Rental Company. Just so happens we had just bought 17 acres and just completed a house, building a new house there in White House, Texas, where Mahomes is from. My second youngest graduated with Mahomes down there from White House. That farm, it's a mini farm, had an old 2,000 square foot house on it. So it was severely dilapidated. So we kind of renovated that from the ground up so that we could use that as our showroom. And so for the next 4 years, we had a showroom on site. We would have photographers come out. We'd set up different displays, and they would do photo shoots on our property and that type of thing. We were also doing a lot of charity work for different things. The biggest one was White House School District Education Foundation. We would take all of our product and decorate the entire gymnasium, and for different things like that, different functions. We were doing wedding venues, all these things. Well, it's just my wife and I, so she's doing all the designing, but I'm working that full-time job, then coming home, loading the trailer, going and setting it up, picking it up at midnight on a Saturday or Sunday. And so that was a challenge, really. One of the things that we learned in that process was really how to be very, very efficient with your scheduling and with your moving. And one of the challenges we faced was just, you really had to be careful not to overbook yourself or spread yourself too thin. Again, both of us had full-time jobs, and so you just have to know when to say when. And any business should have an exit strategy. You should have several things, emergency response plans, business continuity plans, but certainly an exit strategy just in case something happens, something doesn't go right. You need to be able to dissolve that business if there was a need. And so that was the process we learned through that. Is we just decided, we were making a decent amount of money, but not enough that we were both in quarter jobs, right? So it was either we needed to hire some staff and continue to build this business, or we needed to go back to hobby status. And really my career, again, it kind of taken off, and we had kind of talked about moving back up here and to the Branson area and getting another job to be closer to family. And so we just decided to dissolve it. And so one of the things we learned was that process, because it is a process. And we didn't really sell that one. We dissolved it and sold off all the assets. We had no overhead on that business at all. We have, fortunately, we have no overhead on this one other than utilities and that type of thing. That was one of the things that we learned from that, is that you should always have an exit strategy, and if you do, then it's very smooth. Yeah. We sold all the assets, had a couple great sales, and then went back to hobby status. So now my wife and I just travel around again on our spare time, going to antique stores, finding different things, and we decorate it in our house, or we shop for things for other families. So
is there any plan to maybe in the future start that back up, maybe in the area? Or?
So I think the design portion of it, certainly Sheila, she's done it for family and friends for years. I'm going to be doing some social media posts on Revolution Landscapes and our personal pages as well. when we complete 100% the renovation of this house here, that this 1905 house that we bought and moved into.
Okay.
We did everything in it, and I'll back up to say that I'm a licensed general contractor, electrician, and plumber, and so wanted to make sure that we did things right, and so we did all the electrical, all the plumbing, completely renovated it as well. We did have one sub that we brought in to do the plaster repair and painting, just because time was getting short and it was getting cold. We've been staying in our camper while we're renovating that and building this business and doing another renovation down in Ironton. So it's just it's been busy, but we do plan on getting back into the design portion. You absolutely have to be dedicated. Do not go into something half-hearted or a good chance it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Do your research up front. I touched a little bit earlier about, if you're deciding to go into a business, well, how did you make that decision? Did you do any market research? Do you know if that market will support that business? Who's your competition? What do they specialize in? What's your niche? What do you want to specialize in? What's your marketing going to be? Are you going to have a client relationship management software? There's so many things that go into making it, to building a successful business and then scaling it up to where it can become successful and grow.
Yeah.
We're 6 months into this here. It's been phenomenal, been busy, and I'm already, I'm working a year and 2 years down the road on things to set me up for when that time period comes that we continue to scale and grow.
So you mentioned that you have about 6 months of, you've been in the business here for about 6 months, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys have a 12-month goal, probably like a 3-year goal and a 5 and a 10-year goal. So kind of go into, what are some of your goals? Like, do you plan to hire anybody? Do you have any like monetary goals? What kind of goals do you have?
Well, ultimately, my goal would be within 10 years to be over $1 million in business. Hopefully sooner than that. I'd say my stretch goal would be 5 years. Really depends on how fast this market grows. And I think with some things that are coming down the pipeline for the local community, I think it will continue to help draw people into the Leadbelt area. And as the community continues to grow, the need for our services will continue to grow. And so I think the future is pretty bright for the company and several others in the area, obviously. But I think for the first year really is we just don't want to lose money.
Yeah.
As many businesses do. But really we're fortunate. I've collected some equipment over the years, and so we really don't have much overhead other than our payroll and utilities. And so we're in a lot better shape than some other businesses, I think, that started. I would say the 3-year goal, really, I'd love to be up around that $500,000 mark in revenue within 3 years. And again, I think it can happen. I'm pretty confident that can happen. There's certain things certain milestones that you look for, and as you grow a business, and really that's all determined, I think, on how hard you're marketing it, what your marketing strategy is, if you're taking advantage of the local resources that are here to help small businesses. You have the Small Business Administration. Again, your local chamber is a huge resource, and we're fortunate enough to have a fantastic chamber here in the Farmington area. Really just getting out there, hitting those chamber events, getting your name out there so that people know who you are, what you do, and know you.
Yeah.
It's important that they understand you're not just a name, that you're a human being with a family, and that you really have their best interest at heart. And that's what drives me, quite honestly, is my goal is to be the go-to business for people in the St. Francis County and surrounding areas to come and be able to sit down and have a face and really discuss what they're looking for in their outdoor spaces and what they enjoy as a family, so that we can cater that design around what they enjoy and what they're looking for. And because each home is different, each yard is different.
Yeah.
And so you'll see the logo that everybody's starting to recognize. And so if you're searching for a local landscaping company, we really want you to think about Revolution Landscapes. We serve St. Francis County and the surrounding counties as well. We really help you refresh the appearance of your property through various different ways, and that could be outside or inside. So we do lawn maintenance, landscaping. We have construction services. We do interior and exterior renovations. And then we have some other services as well that we offer, from land clearing to native gardens to whole home generators. So be sure you go to the website and check out the different things that we do. This gives you a little bit more of an idea, a quick glimpse. With the lawn care and maintenance, it's your trimming, it's your edging, your blowing, pruning, spring and fall cleanup. We have different levels of aerification, fertilization programs that we have that you can sign up for. And then in the landscaping, that's anything from your hardscapes, your flower beds, your patios, planting, light excavation. We do culverts and raised garden beds as well. We like to build the self-watering raised garden beds. A lot of people don't know about those. In our construction services, we do different things. Now we do outsource some of this. We have a large covered deck that we're doing for a client starting in January with a local construction company here in town. But we also do hydroponic systems, water purification systems. We've done some utility installations as well. And then the other services is just, your different things, anywhere from helping people set up composting piles, or we do some junk removal. We do residential snow removal as well. We're not doing any commercial at this time. Gutter cleaning. We do handyman services from electrical to plumbing as well. And so if you go to the website, you can see all the different services that we offer. And, why should you hire Revolution Landscapes? I've been asked it a few times already since I've been in town. Well, we have over 30 years experience. I've been doing this at the resort level on major properties, overseeing with resort development teams, major renovations, interior, exterior, and the grounds as well. So we've done all kinds of different things. I'm a veteran, so we're veteran owned and operated. We absolutely are a customer centric business. So we absolutely believe in satisfying the customer, doing whatever it takes. And we just want to take care of your lawn and your property, so you guys don't have to worry about it. The client can just come home and enjoy it. And certainly when we're done, it will improve the curb appeal and raise the property values for sure. So just to give us a call at 573-366-0460, or you can go to the website, revolutionlandscapesmo.com.
So James, I appreciate you meeting with me tonight and allowing me to interview you. Like I said, when I met you back at Pasta House at that meeting, I knew that you had a story to tell. And obviously we didn't really get, in 30 minutes you can't really tell a story, to be able to know the full aspect of the story. But I really like hearing your story, and obviously you have some knowledge in the landscaping and hardscaping area that definitely hope people will give you a call and hopefully check you out and hopefully use you here in the Farmington area. So other than that, do you have anything that you want to kind of leave them with, or any?
Well, first off, thank you, John, for interviewing me. I appreciate it. We just want to continue to get our name out there and be the go-to landscape company, hardscape company here for the Farmington area. And we're also here to help other business owners in town and support them and do anything that we can to help mentor. So again, I think if partnering with the chamber, we're excited to see what the future holds for us.
Yeah, community is big, man.
It is, absolutely. That's why we came home. We want to be part of it. We want to invest in the Farmington area and its people. So.
Well, James, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, John.